Expats in Thailand over the age of 50 will need to be able to show that they have medical insurance coverage in order to renew their visas and extensions of stay. The Director General of the Health Service Support Department has, according to Bangkok media, made it clear that the costs of the nation of covering unpaid bills is unacceptable. And from now on, all retirees will need a policy covering up to $400,000 for inpatient and $40,000 for outpatient treatment, with proof being needed at the time of the visa application or renewal each time. Policies issued overseas that cover Thailand are acceptable, otherwise it's time to apply for one that's available here. With media producing a website listing some of the deals available at longstay.tgia.org. As we'll see in a minute, that's not the only source for rates. Here's the deal. It seems, well, it's clear, that state insurance in your home country simply doesn't cover you for illness here. All too often expats think that if they're ill, they'll simply go home for free treatment. In the UK, the NHS, for example, prohibits expats from doing that, according to its charter, but people obviously manage to easily slip the net. But a heart attack or stroke, two of the most common ailments, would preclude any expat from flying and see him or her need help straight away. Do you really fancy one of those government hospitals? In some regions, they're pretty basic. And a private hospital here is only obliged to treat you until you're out of immediate danger and can be moved, unless you have cover or cash. And for the most part, expats who are ill don't seem to have hundreds of thousands of baht of cash floating around. The listed insurance companies in the Nation newspaper show premiums from 60 to 80,000 baht for a 60 to 65-year-old person. Now that's a fair bit of money. But a search on the net shows policies that meet the government requirements from as little as 41,000 baht for a 62-year-old. And it can be further reduced by adding a deductible in some cases, where you undertake to pay the first X amount of baht on any bill. Taking one insurance company as an example, Pacific Cross. According to their website, you can reduce your annual bill to 36,000 baht if you have a 40,000 baht deductible, and you can reduce it to 32,000 baht with a 100,000 baht deductible. Committing to deductibles, of course, is easier than paying it, so beware of promising too much. In many cases, you can pay semi-annually here, so every 6 months, making it easier to budget. Many, including this reader, have at some time removed outpatient cover from their policies to reduce payments. Well, that's a mistake really, as I at least found out quickly. Outpatients is the portion that's the most used in a policy. You can add it back in again, by the way, and it's a part of the new requirements that you have outpatients and inpatient cover. Embassies, including the British Embassy, have been promoting the need for travel insurance for years, often falling on deaf ears, and we can expect this change in visa rules to be followed by perhaps a similar requirement that tourists, too, show proof of insurance on arrival. It makes sense, and those GoFundMe pages get tedious after a while. Quite a few expats, especially elderly ones, are already complaining that they fund their own medical costs and so don't need insurance, and for some, a few, that's the case. However, the problem, we're told, is that they are the exception rather than the rule. In some cases, sick expats have been forced to pawn their home deeds to raise funds to cover medical bills. No one wants to see that. But the same official who discussed the changes with Thai media also agreed that expats with higher bank balances could be excluded from these new changes if they have real funds available to them that could be used for emergencies. So what about that 80-year-old plus expat without cover and on a retirement visa? Well, in most cases, he simply can't get insurance cover. He's too old to join any plan. According to that statement, the one from the official, he'll need to show that he has adequate funds available to see him through a 400,000 baht emergency. So if you do have significant extra funds in a Thai account here, it looks like you could avoid having to have insurance cover, but that may change. For the rest of us, it's going to be essential that we have an effective policy. One thing's for sure, agents will be rubbing their hands with glee. Choose wisely, shop around, and get a policy that meets the state requirements but also suits your budget.